Yo, yo.
Yo.
Welcome back to the Mark Our Words podcast, the official podcast of YouTube. What's good with you, Chin?
Man, life is good, man. Watching my mother's dog today.
Okay.
So,
I thought it was the family dog.
It was my mom.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, life is good, man. Went to church.
Okay.
Me and my girl, we went to go visit her family last week.
Mm-hmm.
That was also good.
Nice.
Not much to complain about. How about you?
Everything was good. I just got back from Mexico with my girl.
Okay. How was
So that was a good first time we ever went on a resort. First time we went out the country together.
Oh, wow. That's big.
So it was a good time. Nobody argued. Nobody had attitudes. We just ate good and was lazy the whole time, basically. Enjoyed everything about the resort.
Were you expecting attitudes or arguments?
I never been out the country. You always gotta expect attitude whenever you're in a relationship. You just gotta listen. If that's how you be a good guy. Cause that's how these guys be spazzing because they didn't prepare for it, and then they end up going too far. So you just always on guard. You just always like, okay, baby.
Oh, never that.
I'm gonna wear matching shirts.
Oh, never that.
Okay, sure.
Never that.
You know what I mean? You just always gotta be on guard. Even though my girl not that type of girl, but I'm just always on guard to diffuse. I'm always in diffuse mode.
Interesting. Well, I'm glad you had a good time.
Oh yeah, I plan on going back. Probably not there, but
To another.
yeah, probably in the next 14
Traveling
months.
more?
Not more. I still don't like traveling. I don't like the idea of like going to the airport, sitting there, getting on the plane, sitting on the plane. The plane riding experience is not fun unless you're in first class. If you just basically just canned all together, you can't let your seat back. It's just like, nah, I don't like sitting like this for 3 hours, 4 hours. So I'd rather just travel domestically, honestly.
That's fair. I have a friend. They're actually it's two of them. They're in marriage.
Okay.
And it was talking about what each one likes to splurge on.
Mm-hmm.
The husband likes to splurge on food. Like that's his thing. Like
food is good.
He's gonna pay the ultimate dollar for a nice good meal.
Now, is it food for him or food for like him and his wife and things like that?
Yeah, his family.
Okay.
Like if he's going traveling, he wants to go to the top tier restaurants.
Okay. I see.
He wants to eat, steak mignon.
Okay.
He wants to, go to like the 5-star restaurants, get the whole experience. Like that's his thing.
Okay.
And the wife, she likes to pay for first class, but that's because she was a flight attendant.
Oh, so she kind of knows.
And so she got the points. When she had the points, she would always fly first class. So then she's used to first class. So she's like, if we're going to travel, I don't care what we eat. I don't care where we stay. But if I'm going to travel somewhere, I want to be first class.
But I think that's my new goal too. Because my girl like traveling, but I don't know if she likes traveling more than like, how people just say, oh, I want to travel. I want to retire so I can travel more. That's like the default thing that people want to say. Nobody never says I want to retire and just be home. They always say they want to do something. So, one thing that I will make it a goal of, if we are going to travel a lot, it is going to be first class, because it's not fun. Like you sitting upright the whole time, you can't sleep. You get what I'm saying? And then every plane don't have TVs.
Oh yeah,
like,
you're traveling less than 5 hours. I don't think.
I'm like, but that's not true, because when I flew to Mexico, shout out to Delta, or was it Delta or was it American? I want to say it was Delta. Delta had the TVs, and I'm like, how come every plane don't have a TV? Every plane should have TVs on the back. I don't care if you only going 30 minutes, an hour, 6 hours. Every plane should have TVs on the back. Like, what do I supposed to do? And then they try to make you pay for Wi-Fi if they don't have TVs. So I'm like, this is just stupid. You know what I mean? Unless you got like, I think we flew American back. If you have T-Mobile, they have like a partnership to where you get free Wi-Fi or something like that. And I'm just like, okay.
T-Mobile actually business plan, like the way they came up out of nowhere, it was just Verizon and AT&T. And now T-Mobile is just offering all these free stuff. And I'm like, man.
They were like, we will buy you out your contract.
I remember them.
If you just sign with us.
Shout out to T-Mobile.
Well, no,
I'm glad you had a good time, man.
True.
Yeah, I know a lot of people. You know, it's either a good time or a bad time. So it's because you get food poisoning, not just arguments with girls, but you get food poisoning. You might not like the culture, you might not like the heat, you might not like the place that you stay at. So glad everything went
Yeah,
through.
I'm happy I didn't get sick. We did like pack a first aid kit and stuff like that just in case.
Yeah.
Like at most, we probably felt like tired from the sun and stuff like that. Like you'd be outside chilling and like by the poolside, and then you just like, yeah, it's hot out here. But I like that it rained a lot though. It like rained like real hard for like 30 minutes, and then like it's just sunny for the rest of the day.
Tropical weather.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, this is my type of living right here.
Okay.
The next time we all gotta go as a group, like friends.
Man, I've been trying,
Okay.
with y'all, but people don't like to travel. I mean, I don't. Yeah, you never really was a traveling person.
I don't like to travel.
But
still.
you're down to go.
I'm down to go.
If people are going, you're gonna go.
Yeah.
And if you say you're going, you're gonna go.
Yeah.
But
I just don't like the whole, like, if we travel, we gotta leave early. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. No,
So
we're not doing that no more.
yeah, like we gotta leave early so we can enjoy the day, because you gotta recover from traveling that day. Like the first night we got there, we went to sleep like around like 9:30 that night, cause we got there around like 2:30. We walked around, chilled around, seen the resort, just walking around. We had an early dinner like at 5:30.
Yeah.
We ate, we walked around, and we came across this party, and then like we was like, let's go back to the room. I'm tired. We looked at the time, it was like 9:15.
What wasn't mostly black people there? Or mostly white people?
I mean, you've seen a good number of black people, but it was mostly white people.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Black people don't be having money like that.
You never know.
Unfortunately.
It's always weird because I always go to these resorts not knowing what type of crowd I'm gonna run into. There's been resorts where it's mostly black people. There's been resorts where it's like mostly white people. I'm not talking about rich white people either. I'm talking about like
like culturally,
Midwest, in their like 40s, 50s. Probably have a truck company.
probably.
Yeah, so still making money. But
Or
it's
maybe
not like,
some of them brought it with their credit card and they go be in debt when they get home. Like I'm just like.
But you never know what type of crowd you run into when you go to the resort. So
That's one thing I never do though. I'll never pay for a vacation with a credit card.
Really?
No, I'll never do that.
Why not?
Because I'm like, if I ain't got the money, then I'm not going.
Oh, you mean if you don't have the money?
Yeah, like I mean, I use my credit card, but I'm paying it off immediately. But
Yeah.
I'm not sacrificing my credit score to go chill in another country.
No.
Oh, actually, this is actually a true story. When I got off the plane, right? So I think we landed in Cancun, or like close to it.
Yeah.
And so the airport police kind of looked like military. Because they had like camouflage on and stuff like that. They didn't have guns in their hands. They probably had guns on them, but they didn't have guns in their hands. So they standing in the middle of the hallway. And we're walking towards to get our passport stamped and stuff like that. And they're standing in the middle of the hallway, so people just walking by them and they just standing in the middle.
Okay.
Tell me why they ain't stopped nobody but me. They stopped me and they was like, weed? Marijuana? And I was like, and I learned not to just nod and smile, because even though I'm saying it clearly to you, I really couldn't understand what he was saying. Because he was like, weed? Marijuana? So only thing I hear is blah, 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 blah. Right? So I looked at my girl, and she was like, no, we don't have weed. No, we don't have marijuana. And then he just looked at me, and he was like, go ahead. I was like, what?
That's interesting.
Now, the funny thing about it is, I tower over these guys. Like, everybody's like short to me and stuff like that. So it's just interesting. That was funny. I was like, dang, I got racially profiled out the country.
Mexico. By Mexicans.
Crazy.
Shout out to Dr. Umar.
Okay.
All right. So what you want to talk about today, man?
I actually, let's talk about my vacation, but from a different perspective.
I bet.
And good thing you put your head behind, because I wasn't gonna say your head was hitting the mic. But
Oh, damn.
but
I'll tell you that.
but one thing that I realized about being, now I don't know if it was just a resort or just us being out the country. We live too fast, bro.
As far as
Americans.
interesting. Why you say that?
We live too fast. There was when we was in the lobby because like in the lobby there was like a bar, so we could just have drinks whenever we wanted and stuff like that. So we chill in the lobby, somebody playing the piano.
Okay.
There was a feeling of what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? You get what I'm saying? Like as in trying to fill up our day. And I understand like it's vacation and you don't want to waste your vacation.
Yeah.
But I still had the hustle and bustle American pace of, oh, we just can't be sitting around. We got to do something. We got to make the best of our day.
Interesting.
But then there was a moment where I was like, no, I'm going to chill and drink my pina colada
Yeah.
in the lobby. I'm going to drink 4 pina coladas if I want to. Like, you get what I'm saying? And just to see how everybody's moving. Now, granted, I get the caveat. It is a resort. So nobody's not going there.
It's like Disney World.
Nobody's going there and like trying to, work and trying to move fast. But I was like, yo, we as Americans in this country, we are like work. Even when it's not work, it's kind of like frowned upon to not be doing anything. So even if, let's say you work 9 to 5, you may go volunteer at your church. Oh no, your church got 3 services that week. So like whole time you're just constantly filling up your schedule, even with the free time that you have. And I'm just like, oh, I'm going to change that. When I come back home, I'm not going to fill my schedule and like be working at that pace to where I'm constantly moving and there's no like peace in my movement and things like that.
Why was you... I don't know if this is the right question, but why was you moving like that before? Like, so was it just like...
I mean, like, you're young and like, I'm a guy, so I'm always thinking of working. Especially when you're trying to build a business, you're always doing something on your free time.
Okay.
You always hear the thing of like, you know, you trading a 9 to 5 to work on your business 24 hours. So even when, and then you get used to it. Like I remember when we was younger, I went to church like 4 times a week. You get what I'm saying? Like even as a kid, you get what I'm saying? And that's actually putting it light. I was there probably 6 times a week, but that's not what I want for my adult life. Like, not, and I'm not just talking about church particularly, but I'm just talking about like.
But what were you going to church 6 times a week?
You said what?
Why was you going to church 4 times 6?
It was just part of my life. So Monday was men's prayer, Tuesday was service, Wednesday was band rehearsal, Thursday youth prayer, Friday service, Saturday corporate prayer, Sunday service. So it's kind of like you just brought up in that. Always going. Or it don't even have to be church. It just always brought up in a routine that you can't really explain why you do it. And like I said, church have these services, and it's not on them to structure your life and to be like, you got to be here Tuesday, you got to be here Wednesday, you got to be here Monday. Like I'm at peace only going on Sundays, not mainly because I used to go every day, but mainly because I want to do other things in my life. Okay. Like go out on a Friday for a date night. I want to wash my clothes on a Wednesday night. You get what I'm saying? I want a night to do nothing. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Imagine you, like, I think nothing, we attribute nothing to laziness sometimes. And sometimes that's not right. Sometimes it's not synonyms. So if you're home doing nothing, it's kind of viewed like you should be doing something. I don't think a lot of people really view nothing as a positive thing. Like, what are you doing today? Nothing. And then they automatically try to fill up your day. Like, hey, do you want to go? Or do you want to do? How about you help me move? How about, you get what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, when I was on the resort, people was coming to the lobby. Granted, we got these villas that's like away from the lobby. People was coming to the lobby just to chill, just to sit. And they was like fine with that. And I was like, I'm over here trying to plan a day, trying to like fill up every hour, trying to fill up every 30 minutes. But sometimes doing nothing is doing something. Like while I was sitting there, I was enjoying myself. Me and my girl were having a conversation, laughing and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm doing something by doing nothing. I feel like I rambled on, but hopefully you got my point.
Yeah, no. There was today the pastor's wife, who's also a pastor.
Shout out to the pastor wife, first lady.
She said something today where it was like one of the points that she made was like, remember your why. And she was saying like a lot of times you do these things and you can't even enjoy the fruits of the labor that you're producing because you're so either preoccupied as to, well, maybe somebody influenced you to do it and whatever your choice, or you're just overly working. And a lot of times because people are overly working, they forget their why. Like, why am I doing this? Oh, because this is something I always enjoy to do. But now I have all these other things that are helping me do this one particular thing that I'm more focused in this area. It brings me back to like a podcast episode by Matt D. Shout out to Matt D.
Shout out to Matt D. Shout out to the new baby too.
Shout out to the new baby. Shout out to your Australian house. Shout out to your Australian wife.
Yo, love Australia.
But nah, there was a podcast episode where this guy, he had a business. And he kept trying to grow it. And I think it was like photography or some type of like videography type of thing. And he found himself doing less of that because he was being pushed to a CEO position.
I know what episode you talk about. Yep.
And he was like, you know what? I don't care to really grow this business like that if that means I sacrifice what I enjoy to do. And I think a lot of times people forget their why. I'm not saying that was the case with you. But even with the hustle and bustle, because in America, everything needs to grow.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not growing, you're failing. Whereas, like, maintaining is not the
it's not the norm?
Yeah, it's not the norm, but it's not okay.
It's also not the goal for some people?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whereas, like, for example, if it would be weird if we said to ourselves, like, we're cool with where our podcast is. Like, that's weird for a lot of people. Like, y'all ain't got 100 subscribers. Or like if somebody was running and they weren't trying to improve in their running, it's like, nah, I'm cool doing 12 miles an hour. And it's like, what? You cool with just doing not 12 miles an hour, but doing running at a 12-mile pace?
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things where
that's pretty slow, by the way.
I mean, it's yeah, but it's one of those things as to know what is your why. Like, if your why is to improve on your running, okay. If your why is just to be active, then maybe you don't need to improve on
but here's the thing about that. A lot of things, you say remember the why.
Yeah.
Some things just don't have a why to it. Some things you just do it. And you get caught up in that routine. Like, one thing...
But what do you mean just do it? Okay, go ahead.
Like you just do it. Like, for example, you join a church, right?
Yeah.
You join a church. The whole point of joining the church is you want to fellowship with like-minded people. You want to worship Jesus. You want to worship God and things like that. Shout out to Jesus, right? You join the church and you go there Sunday, right? Next thing you know, they're like, hey, you got to join the ministry.
Yeah.
Dude, you get what I'm saying? Like, so now...
Multi-level marketing.
Now... But the thing about it is you don't see it as a negative thing because you like, I like this church. And like we ain't over here like playing poker. We over here helping. We feeding the homeless. Yeah. We doing things. But now we feed the homeless every other Saturday.
Yeah.
Now you can just block out every other Saturday because that's what you're doing. Before you ever join that church, and go ahead, I'm just using church as an example. Before you join that church, you can use that Saturday or whatever other Saturday to just do nothing if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But now you already filled up that Saturday at least 2 Saturdays a month. Oh, no. Also, that week of that Saturday, we have a meeting about what we go do that Saturday, that Wednesday.
Yeah.
So now you can block off 2 Wednesdays out of that month. And before you know it, that's just church.
Yeah.
Now, what about things that have to do with your job? Things that you want to, let's say you want to progress career-wise. Mind you love all these things, but your schedule is, now you kind of not in control of your schedule. Before you know it, even though you keeping up, you don't even realize that you picked up speed. You get what I'm saying? Like, at first, you were just walking, enjoying the day, or light jog as you like to do. But before you know it, you kind of just keeping up with the flow of traffic.
Yeah.
And you just like, and when a cop pull you over, you like, oh damn, I didn't know I didn't know I was going 90 miles per hour. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was basically just going the flow of traffic with everybody else. So that's why I'm like, oh, when I was in Mexico on vacation, mind you, I don't take a lot of vacations, if any. I was like, oh, doing nothing is actually doing something. And also, I don't have to fill up the space, like, for example, we already had our Wednesday planned on in Mexico. We went to this cabaret show or something like that. I think it's called. It was a good show. It was cool. It's not my style, but it's cool, right? So we started like, okay, we gotta do something Tuesday. We gotta do something Thursday. We gotta do something that Friday, because Friday the last day, and Friday was actually my girl's birthday.
Oh wow!
So
Happy birthday.
I know I actually forgot that it was her birthday trip, but
I thought it was. Never mind.
I thought it was a pre-honeymoon in my opinion. I totally forgot, but I forgot we planned this whole trip before I even proposed. So we thinking, and then it just hit us like, yo, let's just go to the pool and chill. Like, we don't get to do that in our everyday life. We don't got a pool in our backyard or like a backyard at that. But I'm like, oh, I'm so used to trying to fill up space besides like actually like letting the day come to me. I'm automatically going and attacking the day. You know what I mean? Some people are like, oh, I got to wake up at 5 a.m. I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do that. Besides letting the day come to you. And granted, I know that's not an everyday type of living thing, but I think that's how people get burnt out. And they don't know that they burnt out. They still going on. But that's how people get tired. And then that's how like people, like, they kind of lose their why, as you would say. But I think with some things, going back to the original point, I don't think people really have a why. Besides like, oh, they like doing it. And before you know it, their schedule just fill up. And people like doing multiple things, so they go fill it up with multiple things that they like. But before you know it, you busy 6 days out of the week, 5 days out of the week, outside of your 9 to 5.
I mean, but those things are filling you up.
I mean, you still could get tired from things you love to do now. Like, I'm not saying that you should not do what you're doing, but there is a point to where things that are good for you and things are good to you, like, for example, I love church, but I refuse to go to church 5 days out of the week. I refuse. Because it has to be a certain type of balance. And I think for the age that I'm at and the man that I'm aspiring to be, I got caught up and sometimes get caught up in that hustle that like, Chris, you're not doing nothing today. You should be editing something. Or you're not doing something today. You should be thinking of something, writing something. Speaking of writing, that actually helped me think of that too. I know why writing is hard for me. Because writing forces you to slow down. Like, writing is one of the only things that I could think of that actually make you sit there and slow everything down. And I have a hard time slowing down because I'm like, I don't got nothing to write about. But it's just because I'm antsy. I don't know that I'm antsy, but I'm just like, sometimes you just got to sit there and let it come to you, or write, journal your thoughts, try to get things in order. It forces you to, whatever pace you're at, you need to bring it all the way down and be very patient. And I was like, oh, I think I have a patient problem. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna work on that.
I remember we did a podcast episode after my birthday trip last year.
Okay.
About
I forgot where like you went for your birthday.
Getaway cabins.
Okay, you went to getaway because I'm about to say I could have swore you went on a boat.
I did go on boat too.
And I'm about to say my grandmama died on the week of your birthday.
Yeah.
Shout out to my grandma.
Condolences.
Yes. Like, that's kind of crazy.
I'm not going to condone the child.
Okay.
And I remember one of the podcast episode. The episode was called "Boredom is Good" or something to that effect.
Okay.
And it was one of those things where I think, and it might not be exactly what you're saying, but we don't allow ourselves to get bored enough, where we don't just take in the mundane, where it's like just enjoy, birds chirping, or just going on a walk, or just sit. You got old people, and I think older people know how to do this the best, where they just go outside their porch. and just drink some tea and look in the neighborhood that they've seen for the last 30, 40 years like something's going to change. It's the same old, but they just enjoy time. I think we as as a culture, we're moving away from that. Whereas you're right, like everything is about what you're doing right now and how can you better your life for the future, whether it's mentally, whether it's physically, whether it's career-wise, financially. There's always something to do to improve instead of just enjoying. Like it's and I said this earlier in the podcast, but there comes a point where that you need to be able to enjoy the things that you're approved on. And I think a lot of times we get so caught, I'm not there yet. But it's like, but you're here. Enjoy this space for a little bit and then work on trying to get
Facts.
there. So I think that might also be playing a role in a lot of people's lives, especially in my life. But you work at it and then you slow it down.
We definitely still young enough to fix it. But like it was just very strange because, like I said, you definitely been out the country more than I have.
Yeah.
So to see someone living or to see a group of people, even like like granted, it was a lot of people that's from that country, of course. But of course, you have people from everywhere. But to see like people live differently than you, especially like people live differently just in America, East Coast, West Coast. Like East Side is more known as like hustle and bustle, New York, everybody's go getting. West Coast is more like they say is a more slower pace and things of that nature. So, but even being out the country, and I was like, oh, y'all really live like slower than I do. And I'm like, that's interesting. Now, granted, America is a rich country, and that's because we are taught and we teach our generations like everything must grow, everything must be big. So there is some benefit to things being big, but at the same time, I'm like, wow, we are taught kind of to like we enjoy at the end of like we enjoy at a time where we don't know how much time we got left. Like basically, like you supposed to work, and then at 75 years old, you're supposed to not work. And you don't know how much time you got left from 75 to like the time you die. You get what I'm saying? Kind of to your point of enjoying where you are now. Besides, you should be doing this. You should be having 2 jobs because you're young and you can still do it and things like that. And you should be working here. You should be working here, and then you should Uber when you got free time.
Oh yeah. I remember those days.
and you should Uber during your free time because you got free time. You know what I'm saying? It's like everything must come to a cost in America. Like nothing is free.
But you always gotta question that why. I'm going back to that because a lot of times people say why because you need 100 million before you turn 40. Why? What would I do with 100 million?
But even then, that's on the extreme case. Sometimes, depending which household you grow in, what societal influence you have in that family, because like you said, depending on what that family is. Like, they could just... I actually remember one time, I was watching something, and, like, this is, like, the weekend or something like that, and some kid was sitting on the couch. He was playing on his PSP. It's, like, an old video I watched.
Yeah.
He playing on his PSP, and his father just walked by him. He was like, man, your generation is lazy. Like, he said, on Saturdays, man, I should go cut grass. I'm shoveling snow. I'm doing all these things, and it's, like, even though, like... You can see the benefit of it, like with a kid, you're trying to train up a kid, but at the same time, that turns into adult things. You just replace those things with other things. So even though you may be free, you may not be cutting the grass as a grown man or shoveling somebody's lawn, but you're doing something. You're replacing it with something because you're taught and somebody's using doctrine on you to basically like, hey, you shouldn't just be sitting around doing nothing. Like sitting around doing nothing is not like a good thing for most people. It's frowned upon.
I don't know. I agree with that.
Some, like for example, try it out. If it's based on 2 things. If somebody was to ask what you doing today, if you say doing nothing compared to resting, people would accept resting more than doing nothing. Doing nothing just sounds like how come you're not doing nothing? This is America. We always doing something. There's always something to do. And I'm just like,
but nothing sounds weird. Like you're not gonna cook, you're not gonna clean, you're not gonna shower. Like what do you mean nothing? Like nothing is
what if I don't want to cook today?
What are you gonna eat?
I mean, I can order something.
So you're gonna order food today?
But nobody says like, hey Chris, what are you doing today? Well, around 4 o'clock I'm gonna order food. Like nobody says that. Nobody talks like that. Like if I got nothing on my schedule, I say nothing. Like, yo, do you got any plans today? No, I'm doing nothing today.
Okay. You can just say I don't have any plans today, but I get what you're saying. But I think nothing, when you say nothing, people, what you're really saying is I'm resting today, which is what people say. And I think the people, and this is what I was going to say, I think the difference between, because I won't say people in other countries because they don't live fast, they don't work hard.
Oh,
I would even say they work
hard.
harder.
Yeah, they work hard.
And there is no such thing as retirement for older folks, right? In a lot of these countries. But I think working hard allows you to appreciate doing nothing even more. Because we're so fast, yes, we're working hard, but it's so fast, it's so new, it's always like I'm doing this, instead of like I'm doing one thing.
Yeah, it's more of the quantity. It's like we doing multiple things.
You have these old school, farmers or carpenters, or they've been doing the same thing for 30, 40 years, or people that have been working at the same job in the same position for 4 years. And when they come home, they just, hey, don't bother me. Like, what? Remember the ATL episode when the guy just goes to the mall and he just walks around the mall before the kids get him? That is his vacation. that is. But those old school people,
my man skipped church to walk around the mall early in the morning.
and I think working hard allows you to, and because I was gonna push back on the kid and the father, but I don't know enough context. But I feel like a lot of people in the older generation, they work hard, and that's why they're able to value doing nothing. Whereas even our generation and even the kids younger, I feel like even them, they need to fill that time with doing something. That rest time, whether it's playing games.
But fill it with what, though?
Playing games, running, watching YouTube. So
the why doesn't matter until you're older?
No, I'm saying they understand what nothing is because they were working hard.
Okay.
Even at our ages.
No, but like I think you said just now, like a younger person should be doing something.
No, I'm saying a younger person always fills up their time with doing something.
Okay.
Even when they're resting. Like, because what's resting for a kid? Playing a video game. What's resting or being on IG or watching Netflix? There's no such thing as doing nothing. Whereas I think the older generation, doing nothing is really doing nothing.
Yeah. So like
they're not watching a book.
It's two definitions.
They're not watching TV. They're just chilling, drinking their tea.
Yeah. That's what my father used to do. My father used to, on weekends, he used to come downstairs, sit on his little stool or whatever, like, because he leaned it up against the wall. He sit on his stool. He may go out that morning and get something to eat, like a breakfast or something like that. But most of the time, you can see him sitting in the same spot, and fully clothed, by the way, like jeans and shirt, as if he want to go out somewhere. Fully clothed, sit down, TV on. He ain't watching it. He half watching it, if that, because he's going in and out of sleep. You get what I'm saying? So I can see it from that perspective, but I do think a lot of us are doing a lot of nothing. And when I say a lot of nothing, I mean like a lot of we're just doing things and we don't have a why.
I agree.
It's just used to it, or like the why is not strong enough to be tired from it. Like I understand. Like I think when we hear why, or when I hear why, I'm like, okay, I'm going to work 2 jobs. I'm going to exhaust myself because I'm married and I want to move us out of this. I want to move us out of this city and I want to move us to somewhere. So I'm going to exert my energy for this short period of time. And my why is going to be the engine that keeps me going. You get what I'm saying? But it's like there's other things that we don't do that I don't think the why even matters. I don't think the why is that impactful. It's just like, oh, okay. It's just normal to just fill up your schedule.
I think also there's a lack of patience, and you mentioned this earlier. There's a lack of patience. There's a quote that this guy who does like farm work and carpentry and a whole bunch of stuff, and he says that the saying "don't work hard, work smarter" is a lie. The only way you could work smarter if you work harder. If you work hard, you're going to eventually learn how to work smarter. And the only way you learn how to work smarter is if you start working. And so the whole idea is once you start to do the work, because you got 2 types of people. The one that wants to work smarter, but the whole time he's thinking of ways to make this an easy process.
He hasn't done anything.
But he hasn't done anything. But the person who just works, he's going to start doing it. And the more he does it, the quicker he start picking up on things. And he's like, oh, instead of doing that, I could just do this. Because last time that took forever. But I found out by just working that I could do this a lot faster. And I think what we don't have the patience. We're looking for not the easiest, but we're looking for the shortcuts. And so that's why so many of us, we have so many multiple businesses, or somebody's trying to do 2 jobs instead of working up the career ladder. They're like, oh, I need a job here and need a job here to get the income I would make.
Yeah,
if
at one job.
And and what that produces is a generation that is just like ADHD minded.
we just
moving.
Yeah.
People go to a company, and I'm not saying I'm excluded from this, and I think in some ways this is good. But we would go to a company for 2 years. It's like, okay, I got what I needed here. Time to go somewhere else. Oh, I got what I needed here. Time to go somewhere else. I lived here for about 3 years. I'm gonna move somewhere else. Instead of like, okay, let me sit with this for a little bit. Let me see how this goes for a little bit. You see the podcast game. People come with 7 episodes, 10 episodes, and it's like, I'm done. Or they start a new podcast. It's like, instead of going for the 100 mark, and like, okay,
yeah, exactly.
I like this. Let me now start this. I think people are just too quick with things instead of just seeing where things goes with how long they can keep up with something. I think that might be one of the bigger issues, even probably bigger than the not knowing your why.
Really?
Yeah.
Just doing a lot.
Just doing a lot. Trying to and because they don't know their why, maybe that's what it is. Because they don't know their why, they're trying to do everything. Versus like if I know my why is I want to provide for my family, I want to do things that make me happy, and I want to be able to give back to people in a great way. I'm not going to try to be a CEO.
Okay.
Of a
startup or something like that.
Not a startup, but let's say I was just a business type of guy. I'm not gonna be a CEO of an arms dealer company. Yeah, okay. It fulfills I'm providing for my family.
Yeah,
but it takes away helping other people. That's not something I'm comfortable with, and I feel like that hurts people.
And that's probably going to
affect
your happiness.
That I enjoy. I don't enjoy selling guns to other people. so it's like knowing your why and being patient. I think those two things will help a lot of people with not only slowing down, but being able to say no to things that don't add to their life.
Yeah, and that's basically my point. Hopefully I'm making myself clear, or
I agree with you.
I will make myself clear. I'm not telling nobody to stop.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I know Diddy said can't stop, won't stop. Take that. I love it. But I'm like, slow down. I need to slow down. Because before you know it, you end up doing multiple things. And what if, let's say you're doing multiple things and you got to work on both of them? You're going to tire yourself out. You're going to move at a faster pace. What if they both grow at the same time? You get what I'm saying? Besides one growing and it's one thing if one growing like the other one fail, you kind of just like throw it to the wayside. But if now you're trying to manage two things, so it's like, okay, I'm going to slow down. And then what happens is, this is speaking for people who definitely make more money than us. What happened is they do multiple things and they grow. And then they grow their lifestyle to it. Yeah. So now they got to maintain and they got to keep doing multiple things because they grew their lifestyle. Now, like, they got that bigger house, so now they add another thing. Now, like, they add another show, and now they add another podcast, and now they add another job because now they live in Potomac, Maryland, instead of just staying in Charles County or something like that. You get what I'm saying? Or staying in PG County. I wouldn't say PG County, but you get what I'm saying. So no, that was something that came to me. It definitely came to me, especially when I was trying to write, and I was like, writing forces me to sit down, and it slows everything down around me.
What's your process of writing?
What do you mean process?
Do you like just write, not really think about structure, and do a draft and then do revise?
I don't do no drafts.
Interesting.
I don't do no drafts.
Why is that?
I feel like it takes up too much time. I'm trying to get it out. Exactly. Like, I don't do no drafts. I ain't like no.
But what if you did?
I don't know. Like
you're not going to?
Probably not. But still, listen. I straight.
Hey, we just podcasters, y'all.
I'm a hypocrite.
I feel you. I don't do drafts either. I don't even release.
So, like, with me, like, the most thing I do, I actually let my sister read it so she can revise it. Revise it and things like that. And she may be like, yeah, this instance don't make sense. You kind of saying the same thing over here. But, like brainstorming, the reason why I don't like, but like I said, the reason why I don't like it because I'm sitting down with this one thing for a long period of time. And I told myself, I'm gonna release one every week. Yeah. No one told me to do that. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? I can easily give myself more time by saying I'm gonna do one a month, which gives me a month to fix one piece.
But why even go to the release? Just like I would sit down for the computer.
You said what?
Just sit down on the computer. 30 minutes. If you don't do nothing, you don't do nothing.
No, I mean, no, I have no problem sitting down, but it's just like, okay, it's Monday. So in my head, I'm like, it's Monday. So that means like it's going to come out next Monday. I got 6 days. So, but nobody told me I have 6 days. No one put that restraint on me that I have 6 days. I can literally I can release it whenever I want, actually.
Yeah.
But it's just that idea of, I got to get more out. I have to get more blogs out. I have to get more writing out. I got to get better at writing. But more times than not, great writers say they sit with one piece and they keep writing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
And they do drafts on that one thing over and over again, besides multiple things. So that's usually how my writing process goes. It just forces me, whenever I have a hard time writing, it's mainly because I don't like how slow it is. Because writing is hard. Because like you have to slow everything down. You got to slow your brain. You got to slow how you think. You got to make things clear. So I'm like, and if you don't do it consistently, like it's kind of like you said, it's kind of like running. You run for a whole month, you miss 3 days or 4 days, your chest burning. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? So like starting back up and actually like, okay, I can actually see the equivalent of how I'm like, I need to slow down my American life. I can see it like when it comes to writing. I like attribute it to like how writing is. Like writing is a slow process.
Interesting.
It's a grind process. Anything else?
No, I think it was a great episode, man.
I think it was pretty good.
Yeah, me too.
I think it was pretty good. But, Dad, how do I close out the show? I usually say blessings and stuff like that. But
we can speak to the people.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, man. Slow it down, man.
Oh, okay.
Slow it down.
We dropping gems.
Slow it down, man.
We are motivational speakers now. Okay.
I think that's something that I still work on. I don't really I'm lying. I'm lazy, so I be slowing everything. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm lazy, man. So I think we're opposites, where you could just work, and like, whereas me, I have to trick myself into working. Like writing, I have so many pieces, I just don't release it because when I write, I just be. And then I'm like, I'm not about to revise this. This sentence shouldn't belong there. This is not introduction paragraph.
So you don't even reread your own work sometimes. You just
I'm not rereading. I share with you.
Oh, okay.
But you are like, what should be this sentence? And what should be the next? I'm not like that. I'm like, okay, and I conclude that, and that'll be my first sentence. Like I start from the end, I go to the middle, I add to the beginning right there. I'm like, I'm not. So, but the thing is, for me, is like, I agree with you. I think overall, as people, we're so quick to get to the next level. And I think for all of us, even me, even though I'm lazy, there probably are areas in my life where I do need to slow down. Whether it's like even working out, I slowed down.
You did?
Yeah, I was trying to do 500 deadlifts. I was like, you know what, my back probably can't take it. Even financially, I was going to buy a new home right after I bought this home, and I was like, for what? Let me enjoy this, So sometimes I have to catch myself when I am trying to play that game. But I think for all of us, we should all I agree with you. I think we all should try to slow it down.
Don't stop. Listen here, if you want to buy multiple homes, sure. I'm just saying, slow down. As Chen would say, or as the first lady said of his church or whatever.
Remember your why.
Remember your why. You know what I'm saying?
And try to do nothing.
Or remember or have one. Sometimes we just doing stuff because, you know what I mean? Like, dang, I don't even have a why for this. Like, why am I here tonight on a Tuesday? I could be home.
Just start falling into things.
Exactly. You're like, why am I at church on Tuesday? I was just here Sunday.
Yo, don't like church.
I was just here. Tuesday should be for the people who miss Sunday.
I don't even understand why. Anyways. I'm not gonna do that. Y'all love church. Keep going.
You have good restraint. Man. And listen here, that's only because I grew up in church, so I have the right in the card to talk about it and stuff like that. But
that's fair.
Y'all be good, man. Blessings.